How in the hell did you meet Jelly Roll?
Dude, the grace of God is crazy. So I get this random in 2023 when I'm like grinding on social media and I'm like, I'll coach, ultras, marathons. Like I have these accolades. I get this guy, he books a call. I hop on the call and I'm talking to him and he's like, yeah, like he goes, I want to run around the island of Bali. And at the time, like I didn't even have a multi-day event like in my head. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like I coach you to that,
Yeah.
And this is 23 and he wanted to do it in 23 and he's like, my training's kind of rough. He's like, I'm on tour. And I was like, oh, like you're in a band. I'm like, that's cool, bro. Like just thinking this little like rock band. And he's like, no, he goes, I just recently won Chef of the Year for the UFC. And he's like, and I also, I'm personal chef to Jelly Roll. That was literally the exact sound I made where I was like, why are you calling me? Like, and even to the point, he was my very first ever client that paid 6 months up front.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And that was the last time he ever paid me, because like we became buds. And that was 23 into 24. So he ended up not being able to run around Bali in 23, got busy with tour. 24 got busy with tour. He hits me up. We chat maybe once every 2-3 months. He hits me up in January and he's like, Jelly's on this weight loss journey. He wants to lose weight. He's kind of playing with the idea of actually training for this 5K down in Tampa that he did last year. He goes, he also wants to launch like a run club. And he's like, I think that you'd be like this great person that we can ping ideas off of. He's like, would you be willing to hop on a call? And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Like thinking it's like with Ian.
Right.
And so then I get this email of 5 different people, and sure enough, there is a Jason DeFord on this email, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's Jelly Roll. So it's 8 p.m. and Amanda's sitting up in our office, and she's like this with her phone.
Yeah.
She's like recording me sitting at the computer, and sure enough, pop, everyone pops in, Jelly pops in. And we had a one-on-one, like everyone was on the call from his team, but we had a one-on-one conversation, just him and I. And it's like, how do we build this? Like he's like, I want a run club, but like, how do I do it? So it came up with this idea. I'm like, let's do Strava. And then now he's like a fiend for Strava, like because he doesn't have a phone and he doesn't have social, like he doesn't run his social media. But he's if someone is saying something on Strava, it's Jelly.
Wow.
And so then we launched this run club with Strava, and immediately overtakes Diplo's run club. Overtakes every run club on Strava outside of the Strava run club that has 1 million people in it. I think it's up to 80,000-90,000 right now. And so then Ian comes up with this idea, and he's like, hey, Ian is like Jelly's like built-in best friend as well. Like always, like, the team stays at hotels. Ian stays at Jelly's house. Like they're close and they train together. And, because Ian trains, like he trains top UFC fighters. Like just got Belal Muhammad, who the UFC guy just recently lost. Unfortunately, Ian. But Ian was out there with him, So he had to leave. So he's like, hey, I have this idea. He's like, how about you come down to Nashville? He goes, we'll put you up in a hotel. And he goes, we'll get you to meet Jelly. And he's like, if you guys hit it off, he's like, then when I leave for Belal's fight camp, he's like, you can come in and then you can train one-on-one with Jelly, and then we'll bring another chef in and he can just chef it up. I'm like, cool. So we get down there and Jelly got sick. And I'm in the hotel and I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to meet him. Like I brought Amanda down. And he was supposed to perform at the Grand Ole Opry, and we were gonna meet him and then go, and he didn't. He like backed out of the Opry, so now we don't have Opry tickets. And Amanda was so excited, and sure enough, like we ended up that Thursday night was the Opry. He got us like row 5 tickets to the Opry, and we got to go sit at the Grand Ole Opry, the 100-year, and he didn't even he wasn't even able to perform. He was so sick, but he got us tickets, and the next day we went in. I met him. We vibed out. We just sat down. We were watching. There was March Madness basketball. Like we were just chilling, me and his whole team, and we chatted. And sure enough, he wanted me to come out on tour, and so that was March. April 1, I left for Hawaii for a wellness retreat. That Amanda has a wellness retreat company, and I landed in LA on the way back, and immediately drove to Beverly Hills, stayed in this $37 million mansion, and was with Jelly for like 4 weeks.
Wow.
And toured. We went everywhere. Like I went to Nashville, like private jetting from Nashville to Vegas and Salt Lake City, Utah on the Post Malone tour, and Stagecoach and American Idol. I was literally backstage at American Idol.
Wow.
It was like I had this. It was really cool for me. I'd love to share this. I was sitting in the bedroom. It was a top bedroom overlooking the entire city of LA. Like we are in the house, like right next to LeBron. And I don't know, I think that everyone in their life has the moment of like, I made it. And I mean like has the moment multiple times through their life. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting up there, it's nighttime, and I'm getting ready to put all the shades down because it's like glass to floor windows, and I'm looking out the whole city, the craziest view I've ever seen. And I was like, I made it. Like that was my first like I made it moment. Like I'm sitting in this multi-million-dollar Beverly Hills, being employed by Jelly Roll. I don't have a job, like I don't have a real job anymore, and I'm making money from my this is it. I made it. Mm. And I just remember in that moment, there was no confetti, there was no claps, there was no good job, you did it. And that was where I was like, that was where I went back to my faith, and I'm like, because it wasn't a sad moment, like I was still happy, but then I kind of sat there and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, that's where I went back to my faith, and I'm like, it's not about pursuing things within the world. Like to me, like it's about keeping that same relationship with God and keeping that relationship of, I'm not chasing things of the world. I'm chasing the end game.
Yeah.
And, but it was just, that was such a cool moment that I had for me while I was out there.
Yeah. Well, it's this concept called the arrival fallacy. We think that when we get the thing, when we get the house, we get the view, like the clouds will part, the streamers will go off, the band will be playing, and life will be good.
I was like, where's the confetti at,
where is
man?
it?
Like, what the heck?
But what we recognize on that journey most often is it's the people we're on the journey with that is far more important than the destination where we're going to. And we find way more pride and way more joy in the actual journey. And so like what it sounds like to me is you're enjoying this entire journey of whether it's flying on a private jet with Jelly Roll or it's meeting Amanda and then going and watching the Eagles game. Like you just are enjoying life.
Yeah.
So then you decide to run 842 miles? 841 from one side of Texas to the other side of Texas? Yeah. What got into you that you thought that was a good idea?
I have no idea. I can't even, I've been asked that question. Like how'd you come up with this idea? I don't remember. 2023 September, I broke my leg in like 4 different areas, not like compound fracture, but I had 3 grade 4 stress fractures, which is almost surgical. Mm-hmm. To the point to where it was like, oh, like this isn't just leg pain anymore. Like I cannot run at all.
But let's be clear. You had that pain while you were running in a race in first place.
Yeah.
And then quit the race only after the guy behind you passed you.
Yes. So yeah, it sounds bad when you say it like that, but that is how it happened.
But I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, I have leg pain, I can't run. Like you were running in a race and winning. With leg pain.
So if I can backtrack and then fast track, I broke it at Ironman what happened was I did a marathon. I won the BPN marathon on Saturday. Nope. I won the BPN marathon on Sunday. The next Saturday, I went to Houston and raced Ironman Texas. My goal was to go sub 3 in the marathon and sub 12 in the Ironman in the same week because no one had ever done that. And I won the marathon, 2:54, and then I PR'd my Ironman in like 10 hours and some change. No training for Ironman, by the way. Like, not to like toot my own horn, but I didn't, like my swim was an hour and a half. Like that is horrible. I've done an Ironman in 72 minutes. This one was an hour and a half. Like shit was just not going good, but I made up for it on the run. Mile 25 of a 26.2 mile marathon, my leg hit the ground and I knew something broke. Because I felt this, like it felt like lightning. Like if whatever lightning would strike you would feel like, I felt it come up from the bottom of my foot into my hip. And I limped it all the way in. Finished the Ironman, was standing there, stepped off of a curb, and then literally like sat down. And I'm pretty sure I went to the medical tent. Yeah. They were there. It was so cool. Went to the medical tent, and they put me on crutches. That's April. May, June, July, I kind of like let that heal, but really, And like, but to the point to like where, so what happened was I know this now because of the x-ray, I didn't have insurance because I didn't realize when you get out of the military, because remember I just got out of the military in February. I didn't realize when you get out of the military, I thought you carry TRICARE forever. You should have seen me like when I called them and I'm like, hey, like, why is my insurance inactive? And they're like, you're not in service. You don't have insurance. And I'm like, you don't get this forever? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, that's a fucking bullshit deal. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have insurance, so I couldn't go to the doctor because I didn't have no money.
Right.
Because right when I got back from Ironman is when I sold the Ironman bike and I moved into the house and slept on the floor. Like, this is all at the same time. So, like, to the point to where I completely straight through fractured my fibula.
Wow.
And then just kind of kept training on it, like to the point where like I would squat and it would feel like my leg was gonna bust out, and then I was like, oh, like ew, gross.
Yeah.
So would still kind of run on it, but what happened was I changed my gait, and because I changed my gait, I was now training for the Leadville 100. While training for Leadville, I was fracturing the tibia because I was changing my gait and I was putting so much stress on the tibia. So I raced that 100 miler from what the doctor said, because I finally did go to the doctor, with 2 stress fractures in the tibia and a now healed up, not correctly fracture in the fibula. Raced 100 miles. Get done with 100 miles. Then I got this opportunity, leg still hurts, to go race the Bronx 10 miler with the pros. New Balance was going to take me out there. Okay. Like, you can't say no to that. So I go out and I'm like, I just ran 100 and I ran a 54-minute 10 miler.
Wow.
Like, I placed like top 100 in New York City. But in that race, unfortunately, the same exact thing that happened in April, I stepped in a pothole at like mile 8 and I felt that shock again. But then I already had this 100 on the schedule, so I don't run at all. And we get to this 100 and like I knew I had a chance at winning this race, and I could not fathom. For me, that's when we came up with the saying, and I don't know if I came up with it, but I came up with it to say it out loud. It was risk over regret. And that was kind of what Drew and I had talked about, because Drew was going out there, and I was like, I'd rather risk it than regret not winning.
Right.
And we get out there, and yeah, I led the entire thing to mile 75. But let me back up. The day before, we were trying to film a shakeout run video, like a hype video, and I couldn't even run. And I was literally praying to God. I'm like, please, please just heal me. And I went out and adrenaline, God, I don't know. And I ran 75 miles. But by the time I hit 75, like I remember I called my mom crying at 50. Like I was bawling, sobbing on the phone, because I'm like, and I was calling friends to try to be like, what the hell do I do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm winning. Like, do I stop? Like, I know it's broke. Like, I know it's just messed up. And I couldn't stop. Until I literally, I was dragging the right leg because my hips were getting so messed up because I was trying to compensate. And I broke the leg. Like, it was, and then I got back and went to the hospital. We got the x-rays, and they're like, she's like, when was your race? And I was like, Saturday. And this was Monday. And she's like, this has been broken for a very long time. And she's like, do you see the calcium deposit over here, which you can literally feel? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's because you broke this at some point and then you never let it. And I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, I broke it in, April. Yeah.